Good morning, dear students. Welcome to grade 6 English class. Today, we are going to discuss the unit 4 of your English reader. It's based on science and technology. And the name of the chapter is Mangalyaan, India's Pride and Joy. We can move to the warm-up exercise. Here, you should find out the meaning of constellation. What is a constellation? And based on that, you can match the columns and identify the constellations. And you are given the clues along with the pictures given. Moving to the reading passage. This passage is about the success of India's Mars mission. You know about the planets. Mars is one of the planets in the solar system. And the name of the mission was Mangalyaan. We can read the passage to know about the mission. 24th September 2014, 2:38 p.m. and the place is Bengaluru. The room was full of nail-biting tension and excitement. The scientists worked furiously at their computers. Giant screens above their heads were busy streaming data and graphics. So, this is a space center in Bengaluru, and here the scientists are working furiously on their computers. They are working hard on their computers. They were really tensed. The giant screens above their heads were busy streaming data and graphics. And there's a big screen in the room, and the giant screen, the big screen, is displaying with data and graphics. Data means information, and the big screen is giving information in the form of charts and graphs to the scientist. Mangalyaan, affectionately called MOM, Mars Orbiter Mission, was launched on 5th November 2013 at 2:38 p.m. from Sriharikota Spaceport in Andhra Pradesh. It took 298 days to travel 780 million kilometers from Earth to Mars. So, what the scientists are expecting? They were really tensed because they are waiting for the results coming from Mars. Mangalyaan, affectionately called MOM, that is Mars Orbiter Mission, it was launched on 5th of November 2013 at 2:38 p.m. and it was from Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. It took 298 days to complete its travel, that is 780 million kilometers from Earth to Mars. Moving to the next paragraph. Just as they were on the day of the launch, scientists were huddled together again nervously, tracking the progress of Mangalyaan. And the scientists, just as the day of the launch of the satellite, they huddled together. They again meet together to track the progress of Mangalyaan. Suddenly, in a burst of blinking numbers, the probe fired up its liquid fuel engine, the first in a series of critical moves to enter Mars' gravitational field. The probe, that is a small unit of the satellite, fired its fuel engine and start moving to enter into the gravitational field of the Mars. It's made some critical moves. That the move was really important. The scientists took a deep breath and their eyes glued on the screen. They were without blinking their eyes and they were in excitement looking at the screen. Then the monitors went blank. Mangalyaan had disappeared behind Mars at the Mission Tracking Center of the Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO. The scientists and engineers held their breath in an agonizing wait. 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So what happened to the probe? It disappeared behind the Mars and the scientists were eagerly waiting what is going to happen, whether it is a failure or it will be a success. They are counting. They are waiting for 5 minutes, 10, 15 and 20 minutes. Bleep, 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 bleep. The probe has officially entered Mars atmosphere. So what happened? Finally, they found the screen start displaying the picture again and the probe officially start entering Mars atmosphere. Scientists and engineers erupted in cheers, hugs, and congratulations to celebrate the success of the mission. So they were really happy. They're waiting for the last few hours for this success, this particular moment. So they were cheered and they hugged and congratulated each other. As the robotic probe made its way on an elliptical orbit around Mars, India became the fourth successful nation to send a mission to Mars. The Prime Minister congratulated the MOM team, ISRO, and the Indian people on the historic achievement. So, when the probe entered into Mars, India became the fourth successful nation sending a mission to Mars, along with USA, Russia, and Europe. The Prime Minister congratulated the MOM team, ISRO, and the Indian people for this achievement. So, it was a nod from the Prime Minister. He congratulated the MOM team, ISRO, and the Indian people for this success. The US Space Agency, National Aeronautics and Space Administration, NASA, congratulated its Indian counterpart on this occasion too. So, along with USA, India also entered into the orbit of Mars. So, along with the Prime Minister, NASA, the US Space Agency also congratulated India for its achievement. USA, Russia, and Europe had previously sent missions to Mars. Before India, USA, Russia, and Europe sent missions to Mars. But only India had succeeded in its first attempt. So, this is a remarkable achievement for India that in our first attempt itself, we succeeded. Mangalyaan joined 4 other missions circling the planet: MAVEN, USA, Mars Odyssey, USA, Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, USA, and Mars Express of Europe. The MUM team won the US-based National Space Society's 2015 Space Pioneer Award in the Science and Engineering category for successfully executing a Mars mission in its first attempt. So, we won an award in 2015, that is from US-based National Space Society, for successfully launching a Mars mission in the first attempt itself. Mangalyaan has been studying Mars and its atmosphere and has taken breathtaking images of the red planet, its extinct volcanoes, deep valleys, and high mountains, and beaming them back to Earth. On 5th March 2015, a day before Holi, ISR uploaded on social media 3 images of the red planet captured by Mangalyaan, India's first spacecraft to debut on Mars. Mangalyaan starts studying about the atmosphere of Mars and take pictures of the red planet. The extinct volcanoes, deep valleys, and mountains of Mars captured by the probe. And it starts sending back to Earth. On 5th March 2015, a day before Holi, ISRO posted 3 pictures of the red planet captured by Mangalyaan. Mangalyaan has certainly put India on the world space map. So, we got a space in world space map. The Time magazine listed it as one of the best inventions of 2014. So, it was considered as the best invention of 2014 by Time magazine and said the mission was a technological feat that will allow India to flex its interplanetary muscles. So, the Time magazine explained it like this: it was a wonderful feat, wonderful step from our country. It starts its action in the interplanetary affairs. The 450 crore project of India Mars mission is the world's most economical space mission ever sent to Mars. So, the 450 crore project was considered as the most economical project ever sent to Mars. The mission was approved in August 2012 after ISRO completed a project study. So, ISRO submitted a project to the government and the project was approved in August 2012. The MOM team soon go to work to assemble the individual components of the orbiter. So, immediately after getting the sanction from the government, the MOM team, the Mars Orbiter Mission team, started its work in developing individual components of the spacecraft. And the spacecraft came together in March 2013. They joined all these individual components and finally made the spacecraft in 2013. 5 scientific instruments were integrated with the spacecraft in April and tested repeatedly to leave no room for error. In April, 5 scientific instruments were attached to the spacecraft and tested repeatedly to stay away from errors. When we are launching the project, it should be error-free. So the scientists repeatedly check it to stay away from errors. The mission aimed to try to detect methane in the Martian air, which could be an indicator of biological activity at, or more likely, just below the surface. So, the mission was actually meant for detecting the presence of methane. Methane is a chemical compound which is a colorless one and without any smell, and it is highly flammable. If there is any presence of methane in Mars, that will be an indicator of biological activity or life in Mars. Perhaps the most important objective of the mission was merely to go into the orbit around Mars, a demonstration to be used for future spacecraft and mission. The most important objective was to study more about Mars, a demonstration to be used for future spacecraft and mission design. And it will definitely help in the designing of spacecraft and mission in the coming future. In January 2017, the orbital path of the spacecraft was adjusted to elongate the mission. Otherwise, the spacecraft would have failed to function after spending 8 hours in the shadow of Mars without its solar panels being exposed to sunlight. So, there was a change in the orbital path of the spacecraft in 2017 January to extend the mission for some more years. Otherwise, the spacecraft would have failed to function after spending 8 hours in the shadow of Mars. So, if the spacecraft is spending more than 8 hours in the shadow of Mars, the solar energy will not work, then the mission may fail. So that's the reason why the 2017 January, the orbital path of the spacecraft was adjusted. In November 2017, ISRO released images of Mars captured by the Mars Color Camera (MCC) from an altitude of 42,433 kilometers above the surface of the red planet. So, in 2017 November, ISRO released images of Mars captured by the Mars Color Camera, that is MCC, from an altitude of 42,433 kilometers above the surface of the Mars. Although the MUM mission had a planned duration of only 6 months, the spacecraft completed 3 years in orbit in September 2017. At the time of launching MUM, we expected only a 6 months life in Mars, but it successfully completed 3 years in September 2017. ISRO has a lineup of future interplanetary mission planned to the moon. So we are planning to send satellite to the moon as well as a maiden mission to Venus. We are also having a maiden mission to Venus. That is our first attempt to Venus. ISRO is also working on sending a human to space by 2022 under its Mangalyaan program. We have another program, that is Mangalyaan, and we are planning to send human to space by 2022. If so, then India will be the 4th nation to do so after the USA, Russia and China. And if we are sending human by 2022 to space, India will be the 4th country after USA, Russia and China. So, dear students, that's about the chapter Mangalyaan. It was the real pride and joy of India. Dear students, go through the reading comprehension, try to do it. We'll discuss the same in the next class. Till then, bye.